All right. All right, here we go. So, 12 weeks ago, on March 26th, I started collecting data from within 300 miles of my home. That's five big cities, five big counties in Texas. And I was getting the information from this website, which is Texas Health and Human Services. This is an Excel sheet, by the way, and these are just pictures. But this is a picture of the website. Texas Health and Human Services, Texas Department of State Health Services. And when I started on March 26th, obviously all these dots weren't even here. And here we are, 12 weeks later. June 12th was the last time that that site updated and that I used their data. So I pull that data, and here's just a picture of how many tests have been done in Texas. But and then separated out by county. But when I scroll up, here's the actual raw data itself. And the last time that I did this on my website, which is stressfreedriver.com, I had 11 weeks of data. And if we scroll over a little bit, so we can see. Okay, yeah, it was on 5 June, and today's the 13th, and I'm doing an explainer video basically of how this data works and how I produce the analysis and ultimately what I think is happening within 300 miles of me. So this is Austin. This is Travis County. This is San Antonio's Bexar County, Bexar County, and this is Tarrant County, and it's up north. It's north of me. Dallas is also north of me, Dallas County. Then Houston is Harris County. And week by week, you can see what I did. I just tracked the total infections. In fact, let's just start here. And up here, you'll see what each column says. So there's each county and each city. There's the total infections. Infections divided by how many tests. And if we look right here, H19. Okay, this cell's wrong. But if we look at these cells are correct, I made sure that these cells are correct. But this is a percentage that shows it accounts for how many tests were done. So it keeps it so that you can compare each week given the amount of tests that were given. So as we keep going over, what was the number increase in infections? This column right here. And I'll show you the chart of how those print out, how I printed those out. The percentage of increase of those infections here, and then the total deaths in across all the counties that increased week by week. And I'll show you that chart as well. The number of dead that increased each week. So you can see, each week it kind of increased. The percentage of dead that increased. These are the different percentages. That's another chart that I'll show you. I did live in El Paso for 7 years. I was stationed there. So it's very important to me that I know what's going on out there. I have a lot of friends and people I consider family, really. So El Paso is important to me. I'm actually from back east, but I got to Texas as fast as I could. So I do track El Paso infections, and those are increasing at the moment. Again, this is June 13th. Texas viral tests, Texas antibodies. So the viral is the swab. This is how many that were present on the 26th right here of March. And this is how many viral tests were done on the 12th of June. And right here, you can see the antibody tests only started. Let's scroll over real quick. On 15 May. They started tracking those on 15 May. And again, I got those from that directly from the website. Okay. So total tests for my 5 big counties. This is the totals for those. And then I didn't do anything with this yet, but what I can do is divide by the population of the county, which is over here. Kind of did that over here now too. And then showed the percent that test positive out of that. Or that population divided by test. And there's actually a chart on that. Sorry about that. And then this is just total Texas hospitalizations. I don't have hospitalizations by county. That's not kept. So I can't really compare it. But Texas, since these are all of these are urban areas, this is actually a conservative estimate when I divide Texas hospitalizations by infections. And the reason why I would want to do that is because I'm really infections. The amount of infections does have to do with the amount of tests that are performed, and then out of that, you want to see really that's important to know the amount of tests that were performed and the amount of infections given the amount of infections. You would also want to know how many hospitalizations and then infections. Now, for as far as deaths, um, not every COVID death has been in the hospital or is linked to a hospitalization. So you can't really use that as an indication of, as a reliable indicator of what's happening around me. And at least that does to me. And I'm open to ideas, but at least to me, it makes more sense to look at hospitalizations and given the amount of infections, right? And we started off on the 26th of March with 30% of those positive infections being hospitalized, and now it's around 5%. But when we look over at the number of hospitalizations on the 12th of June, we see that it's a little over 2,000 as compared to 827 at the very beginning. So I've got charts. Let's start going through these charts real quick. Oh, by the way, I'm going to post this. If you're watching this video, you're looking at it on stressfreedriver.com. I may put this on YouTube. I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. But my Twitter handle is social trucker, and um, also known as the trucking social worker. But if we look at this chart, this, like I was saying before, with the raw data, as I was kind of going through total infections. So this is that first chart, total infections right here. Go from 2,700 to 4,400 confirmed infections through the 12th of June, through Friday the 12th of June. So, you can kind of see the shape of that. And then I wanted to know each week what number of infections each week, how many were occurring each week. And we can kind of see that relationship there all the way from the 3rd of April through the 12th of June. We scroll down, we got so the percentage that the infections are increasing. So we got the number, we got the raw numbers, we got the number each week that they're increasing. I want to know the percentage that they're increasing. So that's pretty significant that here, obviously it's going to happen a lot in the beginning, and it's been falling in terms of the amount, the proportion that it's increasing every week. But I think that's pretty interesting. And if we look, we come back up to the data, percentage increase. Let's look at how I figured that out. So it's G4 minus, oops, that's the wrong one. It's G4 minus G3. That's the number increase. And the percentage increase is I4 divided by G4. And then it would just be I5 divided by G5. So if we look at I4 is right here. And then G4 is here. See how that works? And in the chart, when we look at the chart, scroll down. That's how you get those numbers each week. It's pretty cool, huh? All right. And then let's look at Texas, big cities, the number of dead increase. So the data was not available. I think that's why I don't have the 26th, the 2nd, the 9th. It starts on the 16th. So let's look at the number of dead increase. And I also don't know why. So this cell, this actual data cell in my Excel sheet, as you've seen already, it's 12 June. I don't know why Excel prints out sometimes 11 June. And you'll see the same thing here. I don't know why it did that. In fact, yeah, last week actually, on stressfreedriver.com, you'll notice that it says 4 June in the slide. The data clearly says that this is being read from 5 June. See, it says 5 June. I don't know why it changes it, but it does for some reason. Anyway, the number, Texas big cities, number of dead increase. So we've got each week that raw number of how it changes. Let's go up here. The number of dead increase, this column L right here, right? So look at that. All I did was go K6 minus K5. So K6 here minus here. No, is that right? K6 minus K5, I don't think that's right. I think it's, no? Oh, okay, here it is. Yeah. So this is K6 minus K5. This is K6. This is K5. We got 98, and each one, let's take 107, K8 minus K7. So K8 minus K7. And then you have this, you just use the chart, right? And then just look at all these counties, all those counties combined, how much they change from week to week. It's kind of interesting. Then it's just another way to look at it. And then this is called triangulating data. You always want to look at it before you make a determination of what is happening. Look at it from a variety, multiple ways of looking at the data and not just one way. It's also a way to kind of check what's happening. So this chart right here, Texas big cities total deaths. I like this chart. It's kind of cool. Kind of just shows what's happening week to week total. And up here in the data, total deaths. You can see how that goes all the way across to 12 June from 104 to 917. Okay. And then this chart explains Oh, the percentage, just like I did with the infections, the percentage of dead increase, right? You can pause the video and look at that. But when we go back up here, you can see the dates and then the percentage of dead increase that's highlighted. I probably should have done that with the other charts, but you get the picture. Once you click on it, it'll click the active data field where it's pulling from. And so if we just click on one, we'll see L6 divided by K6. L6 divided by K6 is 49%, and goes all the way down and tracks that. And the last one, okay, so this is kind of cool because let me click on this and show you. So basically what this does is Austin, San Antonio, Fort Worth, Dallas, and Houston. What this does is take into account how big each city is, right? And the amount of tests that were done in these cities up until 12, this is 12 June when I collected all that information. And we've got, so here's that little field, population and tests. The thing I didn't do in the chart was actually show what percentage in those counties that that the population is testing, that the amount of tests is compared to the population. Okay, so we got almost 500,000 tests with a little over 12.7 million people in all those 5 counties. Okay. Then, and again, that website, you can find a website on Google pretty easy. The actual website is kind of, the link is long. All right, but you can find me on Twitter at the Social Trucker, where I've also done some other comparisons of those 5 counties to California cities. I include references. I got pictures on my, there's pictures on my Twitter account. Deep South states, Middle Atlantic cities. I grew up in Philadelphia, went to school at Pitt. Got a good friend, on near what, 40 years out of New York City. He still lives there. Good homeboy. And then I use references. Here's my references listed. It's a pretty cool thing to check out. But this was my way of kind of taking control and just using basic math and arithmetic and some creativity and having fun with this. So my thoughts about what I think is happening. Well, I think it's Texas is. A friend of mine was asking whether or not I think there's any. This wasn't a friend. This was actually a passenger in a car yesterday. They're moving down from Michigan to Texas to San Antonio. And he said, "Man, what do you think is happening?" And I said, "Well, Texas is basically it's a Republican state. They would have incentive for underreporting this. And I think a lot of the deaths, it's pretty, there's good evidence to suggest that a lot of the COVID-19 deaths are underreported. It's not good. Okay, now, compared to what I found up north, Texas actually looks a lot better than the middle Atlantic cities. It's probably a separate video, but we take a quick peek at this data. that out of the way. All right, so we take a quick peek at this. Uh, the piece of information I really care about is for every how many COVID, how, for every person, how many COVID deaths are there in DC, New York, Houston, San Antonio, whatever. I compared the two, and so um, this number down here is from week. It's from May 8th, and this number here, this row, is from May 17th, and the same thing up here, May 8th, May 17th, and the these are pretty striking numbers. Okay, so that's the middle of May. I need to update these numbers, but in the middle of May, it'd be interesting to see some comparisons of how these look now. But for every 32,000 people, there is one COVID death in San Antonio. And for every 3,000 people, there was one COVID death in Washington, D.C. That's striking. That's 10 times less deaths per person per that's about 10 times the amount. That's incredible. And we see that all across the board. We compare a Houston like a big city like Houston. For every 19,000 people on May 8th, there was one COVID death. And in New York City on May 8th, for every 628 people, there was one COVID death. That's incredible. So anyway, check out. I have to do a separate video on that separately. But what do I think is happening in Texas? Does it exist? Is it getting worse? The answer to both of those questions are yes. 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 Is it as bad as it is up north? No. There you have it. I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts, your suggestions for the future. Talk to me. Peace.